This is Lee Kuan Yew, the founding father of Singapore and a legendary figure of the 20th century. In an interview, he mentioned such a viewpoint. What is the greatest invention of the 20th century? Or what is the secret of Singapore's success? The answer is air conditioning. This has almost become a famous joke. Singapore is very hot and Lee Kuan Yew is afraid of the heat. So after Lee Kuan Yew was elected as the Prime Minister of Singapore, the first thing he did was to install air conditioning in government buildings. Moreover, the air conditioning in Singapore is generally set at a low temperature, even to the point of ridicule. This is mainly because many habits in Singapore are inherited from the UK, where people wear formal attire even when the weather is hot outside. In such hot weather, wearing so much clothing naturally requires the air conditioning temperature to be set lower. Although it is a joke, it reveals the greater transformation brought about by air conditioning, which improves productivity and promotes the formation of a unified national market. Later, in countries with larger territories, such as the United States, the invention of the air conditioner became more apparent. The invention process of modern air conditioning is also very interesting. Initially, it did not meet people's summer cooling needs, but rather solved a problem encountered by a printing factory. In 1902, a printing factory in New York received a color printing order. According to the technological conditions at that time, the color printing process was quite cumbersome. Typically, a sheet of paper needed to be printed 4 times with cyan, magenta, yellow, and black inks to complete the color printing. The more steps involved, the greater the probability of errors. During the printing process, changes in humidity in the factory can cause paper deformation. As a result, the printed materials may become scrap and turn into waste. Looking at piles of printing waste, the factory director becomes furious and frustrated, consuming several kilograms of gunpowder each day. Realizing that he cannot solve this problem independently, the director reached out to the Buffalo Forging Company in New York, hoping that this company, specializing in heating technology, could design a temperature and humidity control system for the printing factory. The Buffalo Forge Company gave this task to 26-year-old engineer Willis Carrier, who had just graduated with a master's degree. Also known as Wesley Keeley, Carrier invented modern air conditioning, allowing air to circulate around the coil that is cooled by compressed refrigerant, controlling humidity at 55%, as well as temperature and air purification, with excellent results. He officially obtained a patent in January 1906. In 1908, the Buffalo Forging Company established this company, Carrier Air Conditioning, with Wesley Carrier serving as vice president. At the beginning of the invention of air conditioning, due to the high price, early users were mainly industrial companies affected by humid climates, such as textile mills, flour mills, cigarette factories, and so on. Although the disadvantage of customer orders is that the prices are high, the order quantity is relatively small. In this way, by the end of 1914, Carrier left the Buffalo Forging Company and joined 6 other young engineers. Established a new company called Carrier Engineering. After the establishment of the new company, Carrier started to target end customers and came up with a very good plan to penetrate from the business side to the consumer side. They first described air conditioning as a weather creator and then promoted it through cinemas. As air conditioning was not commonly used in the countryside, cinemas were forced to close during the hot summer days. Now they have become the best places to promote air conditioning. People enjoy watching movies while enjoying the pleasant air conditioning during the hot summer days, and they are naturally interested in the newly introduced air conditioning. For movie theaters, installing air conditioning is a profitable investment that allows them to earn more money, so they are willing to pay for it. Carrier achieved great success by tapping into this opportunity. By 1938, out of approximately 16,200 movie theaters across the United States, over 15,000 had installed air conditioning. So every movie theater is advertising for Carrier for free. Of course, due to price restrictions, equipment size restrictions, noise restrictions, and many other factors, Carrier's main customers at the time were still concentrated in the B-end and government procurement, especially a large number of orders from the southern region. For example, in 1929, many office buildings in San Antonio, Texas installed air conditioning. The emergence of air conditioning was of great significance to the southern region. Just as Northeast cannot lose soy sauce, Shandong cannot lose pancakes, and Teacher Yu Chien cannot lose soy sauce, the West cannot lose Jerusalem. At the same time, the hot and humid South cannot lose air conditioning. With the emergence of air conditioning, the southern United States has eliminated its biggest disadvantage. Not only has the working environment become comfortable and the indoors refreshing, but the work efficiency of Guangdong resources has also increased by 24. It also promoted the development of temperature and humidity-sensitive industries such as textiles and pharmaceuticals in the production process. In addition to the existing advantage of cheap labor, the southern United States quickly demonstrated its other advantages, with a large number of northern companies influenced by powerful unions relocating to the sunny region of the South. From a longer-term perspective, these changes not only fostered the rise of the new economy in the southern United States but also completely shaped the internal population movement and the national unified market of the United States. After all, during a fairly long period of history, the labor market within the United States was not unified, otherwise there would not have been the Civil War. The internal population migration in the United States mainly had 3 waves. The first wave was the westward movement, which truly made the United States a nation spanning the American continent. The second wave was the Great Migration of African Americans, with a large number of black people from the South migrating to industrial cities in the North, directly promoting the popularity of jazz music among black people. The third wave came after the popularization of air conditioning, when many white people migrated from the cold North to the warm South, basking in the sun and enjoying the beach. During this phase, with the opening of the market, air conditioning products also underwent improvements, and many important technologies became mature, such as the centrifugal refrigeration machine invented in 1922, and the Freon refrigeration machine invented in 1928. Freon can be said to be well known. Anyway, when I was in school, the textbooks always talked about the disadvantages of Freon, such as harming the ozone layer. Later, it was gradually replaced by more environmentally friendly refrigeration machines. But initially, the emergence of Freon had a significant meaning for the development of the air conditioning industry. Freon is also a general term and not a single substance. It can be roughly divided into three categories: R12, R22, and R134A. The most destructive to the ozone layer is the refrigerant R12, which happens to be a key contributor to the development of the air conditioning industry. In 1928, two General Motors engineers developed the R12 refrigeration system, which was the first to use a non-flammable liquid as a refrigerant, greatly improving the safety of air conditioning equipment. Soon after, in 1929, safe and reliable indoor air conditioning became available, promoting the prosperity of the air conditioning market. In 1947, further advancements were made. Low-cost window air conditioners entered the market, hitting the timing of the post-World War II economic boom in the United States and experiencing a full-scale explosion in the consumer market. Data shows that in 1947 alone, the U.S. market sold 43,000 window air conditioners. It is well known that the home appliance industry is closely related to real estate. Typically, people only purchase a new set of household appliances when buying a new house. Americans at that time were also like this. William Levitt, who had served as a naval engineer during World War II, started adapting to the baby boom after retiring. He developed a completely new housing project, building houses like the Ford assembly line. Prefabricated versions began to be widely used in house construction, which increased efficiency and brought down house prices. Many families bought new houses, which naturally also boosted the sales of air conditioning, as it represented a brand new middle-class lifestyle. Kelly invented the air conditioner in the United States, but those who understand the history of business know that the subsequent home appliance industry was dominated by East Asian companies. This is actually related to Kelly as well. In the 1950s, due to the good relationship between the United States and Japan and South Korea, Kelly Air Conditioning established joint ventures in Japan and South Korea. Although the new joint ventures did not ultimately succeed, the technology remained. It has driven the development of many Japanese and Korean air conditioning brands, such as Daikin in Japan and LG in Korea. After China's reform and opening up, Japanese and Korean companies also brought over air conditioning technology. Nowadays, if we only look at the US air conditioning market, Carrier still holds a certain market share. However, if we look at the global market, it is basically dominated by Chinese home appliance companies. Here's another micro-level story. After the completion of the Great Hall of the People, due to the limited national manufacturing capability at that time, Kelly's central air conditioning was used for a long time, and later it was changed to Gree air conditioning. Finally, let's take a look at Kelly's personal life. 1902 was one of the peaks of Kelly's life. In that year, he not only invented modern air conditioning, but also married his wife, Seymour. Unfortunately, Seymour passed away in 1912. In 1913, Kelly married his second wife, Martin. However, fate took his wife away. In 1939, Martin passed away. In 1941, Kelly married his third wife, Weiss. Fortunately, Weiss accompanied him through the rest of his life. Kelly passed away in 1950. Later, Kelly and his three wives were all buried in Forest Lawn Cemetery in Buffalo, New York. In 1999, Kelly was selected as one of Time magazine's 100 most important people of the 20th century. Kelly was not only a great inventor, but also a pioneer in the women's rights movement. In 1917, he hired Margaret Ingalls as the first female air conditioning engineer in the United States. It's important to note that at that time, the United States was still debating whether women should have the right to vote. Kelly not only hired Ingers, but also praised Ingers for publishing various articles on gender equality in the media. Later, Ingers wrote a biography for Kelly, which was published 2 years after Kelly's death. The temperature is now 33 degrees, hot and humid. However, as soon as the teaching time arrives, the house will become cool. Wait for the family to come back and explore the world. Kelly's latest air conditioner, unique 24-hour edutainment. Welcome to Open the Air Conditioner.